Today on the Justin Nava Show, I'm giving you the game plan on how to convince your pastor your church website sucks and why you need to destroy it. We'll also uncover the dirty word you need to stop saying in your church, and it's probably why your church website sucks. And finally, we're going to nerd out a little bit with 90s websites and Captain Marvel. This is the Justin Nava Show, Episode 4, Your Church Website Sucks. Burn it to the ground. Welcome to the Justin Nava Show. If you don't know who I am, my name is Justin Nava, and I'm one half of Church Training Academy, where we teach you how to use and exploit technology to further your message and impact your community. And today is the 4th episode of Justin Nava, the final chapter of our launch episodes, and we're talking about church websites. First, we talked about, 30 things you need, well, not first, but we talked about before, 30 things you need to do with your church website, how to get your church website off the ground, how to improve it. But you know what? Sometimes your website just sucks, and you can only put so much lipstick on a pig. So I'm going to tell you what you need to do. You need to burn it to the ground. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down in the live stream. We are live on Facebook and YouTube Tuesdays at 11:15 a.m. Central Time. If you're watching it after the fact, still leave a comment, subscribe to the podcast, leave a review. Wherever you're listening to it, I want you to let me know what you think and let me know how we can make it better. So I'm very much, with this show, I'm very much making it a 1% progress every week. Okay. This show is not a seasonal show. It's not episodic. It doesn't occur in certain time frames. It's going to be a weekly show. And if I can make 1% improvement every week, by the time, I hope my content gets me through the beginning of this launch. And by the time we finish, it should be a one mean podcasting machine. So we're going to get to what to do if your church website sucks. But first, I want to tell you, this is a new podcast. We are launching it. This is episode 4. And ideally, if I can kick Dave in the butt enough to get this done, ideally, this podcast will launch with these first 4 episodes. And if you just skip to the most recent episode, that's great. Good on you. You missed some good stuff, but welcome to episode 4. As part of the launch, I am giving away a free Easter landing page for your church. Or at least I'm giving away the opportunity, because I can't do one for everyone. If 100 people listen to this, goodbye a family, goodbye work, goodbye clients. I can't do that. I can only do it for one. So here's what I want you to do. If you want a free Easter landing page, this is a page dedicated for your church, for your Easter service, for people in your town to see exactly what you're doing for Easter. We don't want them to get distracted with everything else your church is doing. We want them to do one thing and one thing only: get to your church on Easter. So the way we do that is with an Easter landing page, and I'm gonna give you the opportunity to win one. So this is our launch giveaway. What I want you to do is subscribe to the podcast, leave a review. What do you think? You've got 4 episodes after this publishes. You've got 4 episodes to listen through and give me your honest review. Okay. Leave a review in iTunes. Go join our Church Media Hacks group, churchmediahacks.com. Screenshot your review and leave a post in there. Let me know that it was you that left that review, and you'll be entered in for a free Easter landing page website. So the comments are coming in. Yes, Tommy, you can only put so much lipstick on a pig. And Kirk is watching. He says, yeah, his website sucks. So Kirk, I'm going to give you some very, very interesting news. And if you're watching on Facebook, leave a comment. We don't have any comments yet on Facebook. Everyone's watching on YouTube. So yes, your church website sucks. And if you aren't sure, if you're thinking, I know it's not great, but does it suck? Let me give you the 3 ways you can tell your church website sucks. Number 1, your church doesn't even know it exists. Does it feel like that sometimes? You're like, hey, it's on our website. And someone's like, oh, we have a website? True story. Okay. I'm going to try to go slower. I went real fast last week. I'm going to try to take it slow today. True story. Back when I was beginning my freelance website design, I was making a lot of cold calls. And I picked churches in an area. It was an area I'm familiar with. It was the town next to where I was currently. And I called up churches and said, hey, I'm doing a website audit. Would you like me to send one to you? Right? It's free. Right now they cost $97, but back then they were free. And I would say, my phone is blowing up here. Give me a sec. Let me make sure everything's okay. Yeah, everything's fine. So, just gonna check the stream here. Okay, great. It's just people blowing up the Facebook chat. Yes, Ramon's commenting and Alfredo's commenting as well. Thank you. So anyways, okay, so I was doing cold calling, and I was looking at websites, auditing them, and then I would call the church, and I would say, hey, I just did an audit on your website. Would you like one? And this kind of got my foot in the door. Probably the third or fourth or fifth. It was on my first day doing this. I called a church. I said, hey, I just audited your church website. Would you like me to send that to you? And the receptionist said, oh, wow, I didn't even know we had a church website. I don't think we're big enough for that. Whoa. Okay. Two things. Number one, your receptionist, not your, I don't know if you're listening to this. You're a wonderful lady. If you are, their church receptionist didn't even know they had a website. That was eye-opening. Number two, I don't think we're big enough to deal with whatever, to improve with whatever we have now. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in section 2 of this show. The other way to know that your church website sucks, number 2, is people don't reference it when inviting someone. This was something that I had at my home church before I redid the website. This was something that I did before I did. Okay, let me figure out how I'm going to say this. This was something that I saw happening before I did the website. Okay. People would say, hey, come to our church, and be like, oh, okay, cool. Do you have anything online that I can check out? No. Is that your church? Are you afraid to show people your website? It might mean it sucks. And worst of all, number 3, how do you know your church website sucks? Your pastor doesn't even care. Hey, pastor, can I do some edits on our church website? Sure, if you want. I don't care. That's terrible. So, does your church website suck? Here's how you know. Your church doesn't know it exists. Your people don't reference it when inviting because it's kind of embarrassing. And number 3, worst of all, your pastor doesn't even care. So what do you do if your church website sucks? Burn it to the ground! Burn it to the ground! By the way, if you understood that reference, please leave a comment below. I will become your new best friend. Sometimes you have to burn the building down to reveal the cracks in the foundation. I say this lighthearted often, but it's very true. Sometimes to reveal the cracks in the foundation, you have to burn the building down. And so you have to have an honest chat with your pastor about your website. And Ramon is asking, what's required to have a good website? Ramon, 2 things, my brother. Ramon, number 1, you're an insider. And so we have a whole course, the Definitive Church Website Formula, inside the Insider's portal. So go watch that course. You'll know exactly what's required to have a good website. Number 2, you have to sit down at your computer and do that. But if you want to get some tips while you're driving on the road, commuting or whatever, Justin Nava Show, episode 3, go find it on YouTube. We talked about 30 things you need for a good, best church website. So go watch that. That's a side note. But Ramon, you're in the Insiders. You got the full course. We're actually launching it next week. More information to come. So number 1, you need to have a conversation with your pastor. Okay. You need to ask him, Pastor, why do we have a website? It's costing us valuable church website. It's costing us valuable church budget to have this website. So why do we have it? See what your pastor thinks. Now, there is a right answer. There is a right answer to this. But the question is, does your pastor know? So see what he thinks, okay? Number 2, you may want to just say, since it's costing us money and it's not really doing anything and you really don't know why we have one other than everyone else has one, can we just get rid of it and save a couple bucks? See what he says. That's a big question. That's a hard question to ask. And in fact, when I told Tommy this last week, when we were talking about his website, I said, if he says, hey, I don't know why we have one, ask him. Can we get rid of our website and save a couple bucks? Because it should be costing you money. Our websites aren't free. At least the domain name, you got to pay $15 a year. If the pastor says no, don't delete it, then there's something for you to work with. Okay, so there's something there that you need to dig up. We have a website. It's costing us budget, but it's obviously not doing what we're supposed to be doing. It's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, representing our church. So what can we do to make it better, right? You don't want to cancel it. We don't want, a motor sitting out on our front lawn. We want to actually do something with it. We want to improve our car. So let's figure out what we want to do. The dangerous thing, and yes, it is dangerous, and yes, I am going to get yelled at in the church communications groups. If you tell your pastor, our church website sucks, why do we have a website? I don't know. Do you mind if I go ahead and save us church budget and delete the website? If your pastor says yes, what would you do? Tell me in the comments, what would you do? If the pastor says yes, I'm going to tell you to go ahead and delete your church website. Okay? Move on. This is not a project inside your pastor's vision. It's tough. It's a tough answer. People are gonna get mad and get their pitchforks. If your pastor does not care that you have a church website and he would rather have the $15 a year to put towards other ministry needs, then there's not even a fight there. There's no battle. There's no negotiation. There's no convincing. Okay? You just delete it. Now, what may happen is, as with anything when we stop doing ministry opportunities, people will experience the vacuum. Some church member will hear a friend say, hey, I was trying to look up your church, but I didn't see anything. That church member will go to the pastor and say, hey, how come we don't have a website? Pastor's probably going to feel a little embarrassed, try to save his own neck. Inherently, it's not a bad thing. And he's going to say, we just, we didn't see any results from it. We didn't think anyone was using it. And then he starts to see, well, maybe other people were using it. Maybe it is important that people find us online. People are checking online. Maybe point out, hey, where are we going to lunch? And then pastor says, maybe, I read a good review that this place is good. And then you say, oh, wouldn't that be cool if people say, where do you want to go to church? And they find our church online. I just deleted our website 2 months ago. Shucks. So that's tough. That's really tough. If your pastor doesn't think you need a website, that's a tough battle. And you really have to be a pro to convince someone that, doesn't think you need it. You have to be a pro to convince them that you do. So if your church website sucks and your pastor doesn't care, burn it to the ground. Burn it to the ground. So, Alfredo, you got it. Nickelback sang burn it to the ground. You are my new best friend. All right. So if you do burn it to the ground, if your pastor says we need a website because obviously people are going online and finding us, but our website sucks. We're embarrassed to talk about it. We don't reference it when we're inviting someone. Church folks don't even know it exists. Pastor could care less, but he's allowing me to do something about it. Here's what you do. Don't try to improve what you already have. Okay. Like I said before, you can only put so much lipstick on a pig. Burn it to the ground, reveal the cracks in the foundations. Start with a one-page website. Okay? The main reason why your church website might suck is because everything is up there. It's a total clutter. You have no idea this page has a million things. This page has bare bones. It's leaner than turkey breast. No. Start over and give it one page. What do you have on that one page? You have a one-sentence invite. We talk more about this in the Definitive Church website course. You put your times and locations. You put your childcare options. It'd be nice to have a sermon preview so people can listen to a 5-minute clip of the pastor, and then maybe a welcome and information from the pastor. So either a video or some text or a letter. Don't make it like an actual letter. From the pastor, and it says, hey, I'd love to meet you. Come find me after service. We'll get some coffee, something like that. If you do it right, if you start off with this one-page website and you do it right, you will convince people that a website doesn't have to be clutter. You will convince them that it doesn't have to be a mess. You will convince them that less can be more. So if you nail this one page down, if you nail down the invite, if you nail down that you're welcoming, friendly, inviting, whatever you want. If you nail down a clean times and locations listing, if you nail down your child care options, maybe you include little boxes that says these are the ministries we have. You don't link to a ministry page. That's clutter. You just say these are the ones we have. We'd love to tell you more about them. Okay? And then, of course, I don't have this in my notes. You should probably have a contact form. Do you require special accommodations? Do you have any questions? Fill out this form. We'll call you back within 48 hours. When you do this right, people will see, oh, this is what a church website should look like. But wait, our ministry's not on there. Hey, pastor, can we put the youth ministry on the new website? Oh, that's gold. That is what you want. You want people to jump on the bandwagon. You want people to jump on the bandwagon and try to get on the new site. You don't get that when you try to put lipstick on a pig. Okay, you need to eat the pig. Burn it to the ground. Bring in a nice little teacup pig and say, hey, look at this. Isn't this wonderful? And people will say, oh, look at that teacup pig. I'm getting distracted here. So when people see what your church website can be, they want to be a part of it. So build out your site. After you have that one page nailed down, add one other page. And this is where often as media folk, we can get tempted to just try to devour everything at once. No. I design 7, 15, 20 page websites. I do not do that. I work on one page at a time. You cannot do everything at once. You cannot plan to launch, even if you have 3 ministries, do not launch them all at the same time. Do not do that, okay? You want to pick one ministry, whoever came up to you first, or maybe the most important ministry. For a lot of churches, it's the children or the youth. Pick them and do their page, okay? What this is going to do is it's going to set the foundation for what the other ministry pages need, okay? So on the ministry page, maybe you have some pictures of the ministries. Maybe you have their vision statement. You have a calendar of events. You have a special request form. Did your kid have allergies? Let us know. You have all this information. You put it out there. And then when other ministries come to you, say, this is the information I need. Because the worst thing is when I go to a church website and I say, oh, this is wonderful. Let me look at their adult Bible study page and I see, oh, here's their leader. Here's what they talk about. Here's their upcoming events. Here's some FAQs. Here's some past lessons. Here's their release forms for whatever. I don't know what adults would need release forms for. But then I say, well, I wonder what they have for my kid. And they click on the children's ministry page and it says, we'd love to have your kid here open at 9:30. And I'm just thinking, so is my kid going to be safe? Do y'all teach my kid Bible lessons? Do y'all have any allergy precautions? Like you just sold me on the adult Bible study, right? Maybe the adult Sunday group, if you name it correctly, if you listen to the previous shows. But your kid's ministry is lacking. And so it makes me not really trust you. So when you build it one page at a time, you build that foundation and you have control over the information. You have control over, hey, Hope Ministries, I need more than your meeting times. I need why you exist. I need some pictures. I need some interviews with your leaders. We did it for this page and it's working really well. I'm giving you all too much information. So that's what you need to do. If your church website sucks, if your church doesn't know it exists, if your church knows it exists but doesn't reference it when inviting people, they don't want others to know about it, or if your pastor doesn't care, burn it to the ground. Get rid of it and start with one page. This is what you do, okay? Don't fight a battle you can't win. Don't fight a battle that's going to exhaust you into passing out. Start with one page and build it out one page at a time, okay? So if your church website sucks, that's what you need to do. While you're building it out, let me tell you about the 7 church website essentials. You need to go to betterchurchwebsite.com and get our free guide. This is 7 things that your church website needs. It's all applicable to your 1-page website, your 7-page website, or if you are cursed with a 30-page website, get the guide and go through it. It's no matter what your church website is, no matter what your platform is, we are not selling you anything in this guide telling you to go to WordPress, go to Squarespace, get this template, get this podcast. No. This is applicable, okay? This is stuff that you need to know to attract more people to your church. Betterchurchwebsite.com. 7 things. This is what I spent years studying, trying to get my first church website to work. This is what I spent countless... Oh, man. We tried one website platform that was $99 a month because for some reason we thought the more we pay, the better the website's going to be. False. False. To get the real lowdown on what your church website needs, go to betterchurchwebsite.com, betterchurchwebsite.com, and we will email you the free guide, and you can get started on your website. Now, let me go to the number one word you should stop saying in your church. Now, this is tough because some of y'all aren't in leadership positions, and I get that. So you have to start with your ministry, and then it'll hopefully spread to the church. The number one word you need to stop saying in your ministry is the word Let me tell you what the word does first. I'm going to tease you a little bit. Number one, when you say this word, it probably got you into the mess with your website. When you say this word, it's the reason your church website sucks. When you say this word, it prevents any ministry from actually taking off. And what I mean by that is you start a ministry, some people show up, but then it kind of dies off and you're wondering what happened. And it also causes people to come and go to your church. When you use this one word in your vocabulary, it causes people to come, but they don't stay. They just kind of fizzle out, or maybe they go. Enough. Enough with all that mess, but also the word is enough. Okay? Imagine your wife. I'm going to give you two examples. I'm going to give you my example and the example I think Dave would give you. Okay? Because Dave pushes me to say things that are controversial, but you know what? I hate this, but it works. Okay, so I'm going to give you my example, and I'm going to give you Dave's example. Imagine your wife cooked you dinner. Okay, now if your wife cooks you dinner every night, then picture someone else. Maybe your child. Maybe you cook dinner for your spouse. But for me, I'm going to imagine my wife cooked me dinner because I cook in the family. Okay, my wife can heat up a Hot Pocket, and she can do some crock pot dips, but she can't actually cook dinner. Or she won't. But I do the cooking. I enjoy it. But imagine your wife cooked you dinner, your favorite meal, steak and potatoes. That's me, right? Maybe a nice homemade apple pie. And she brings it to you and she says, "Here you go." And you take a bite and she says, "How is it?" And you said, "It's good enough." Uh-oh. You want to get in trouble with your spouse? Tell them their food is good enough. Now, imagine this. Imagine your spouse. This only works with married people, but I'm going to say it anyways. Imagine your spouse goes out and finally buys that bedroom outfit that you really, really enjoy. Okay. If you're a dude, okay, imagine your wife goes out and buys lingerie and you walk in the bedroom and she says, "Hey, how do I look?" And you say, "Good enough." Nope. You are going to get in trouble. You are going to get in trouble so quick. And that's never going to happen again. That is what you need to stop saying. Stop saying enough. Good enough kills greatness. It even kills good. Good enough is not the same as good. Good enough is like a Hot Pocket. It's good enough for dinner, but it's not really a good dinner. Am I right? Let me know in the chat. Do you think Hot Pockets are a good dinner? Yeah, Dave agrees with me. Steak, potatoes, apple pie. Praise God. That is not a good enough dinner. That is a good dinner. And when you say things, our church website, it's good enough. That's how you get a church website that sucks. If you say our media ministry, our live stream, it's good enough. It's going to stay there because it's always going to be good enough. And, if you have a ministry idea, maybe you have a food shelter and the food, you kind of have to hold it in a closet. There's no light in there. You don't have a formal way to get people together to track who you're giving food to. Maybe at the end of the day, all you have is canned beans and you don't have any more tuna or meat or peanut butter or anything of substance. Beans is a bad example. Maybe green beans, you don't have any meat, any protein. And you say, well, it's good enough. You're hurting yourself. Get rid of good enough. Make your stuff good. Make it better. Make it the best. Make it the best. Good enough kills good. Make it good. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So, why Dave puts it really well. He's in the comment section. Why excel at mediocrity? Why excel at mediocrity? Just make it good. Just make it good. All right, so next we're going to nerd out. I'm going to show you something that I'm really excited for. We're going to close with this. 90s websites. You guys remember websites in the 90s? You had music playing. You had like rainbows shooting across the screen, maybe some pop-ups. You had some flashing GIFs and some rotating. And hey, if you really remember websites in the 90s, remember guest books? Remember you would sign your name to the guest book at the bottom of the website? Well, get ready because 90s websites are back because the Captain Marvel website has come out and it is glorious. Take a look at this. This is the Captain Marvel website, marvel.com/Captain Marvel. And if you don't know, the Captain Marvel movie takes place in the 90s. And this is a thing of beauty. So we're talking about websites. This is a website that sucks, but in a good way. And no, your church cannot do this. We have the tiled background in the back, low quality, animated word art. Oh yeah, you got the flags. You always got to have the waving flags. If you're listening to the audio of this, you're missing out. Go to marvel.com/Captain Marvel. And it's the way they do it. They have the trailer here. And of course, if you go all the way to the bottom, there's the guest book. And so it is beautiful. This is the actual website for the movie. And it's a thing of wonder. It's so beautiful. So, go check that out. Marvel.com/Captain Marvel. That's what I'm nerding out about today. That is a good example of a church website that sucks, but in a good way. So thank you all for watching. My name is Justin Nava. Go to the podcast feed, subscribe to it, leave a review, take a screenshot of your review, go to our Church Media Hacks group or email us, hello@churchtrainingacademy.com. Do any one of those things. Somehow get it in front of my eyes. If you don't care enough to figure out how to make me see it, you don't care enough to have an Easter landing page. Go do that. The deadline is March 1st. On March 1st, I will be picking a winner. And that winner, I'm going to work with and get them an Easter landing page within a week or two, because Easter is coming up. So this kind of closes our church website four chapters, our church website section of the Justin Nava Show. Next week, we're going to move on from church websites. So if you're thinking, oh man, this is all about websites, and I know ours is a lost cause. It's not a lost cause. You just need to burn it to the ground. We are going to move on to some other content, but I just wanted to get websites out there first because it is the most important part of your church website marketing strategy. It really is. So, thank you so much, guys. Leave a comment down below. Leave a review if you're listening to the audio. Appreciate you guys for watching, listening, devouring this content, this free content, and be on the lookout because next week, February 20th, I think, 19th or 20th, we're going to be launching the Definitive Church Website Formula. This is a course that will teach you all the pages of your website that you need, how to build them out, and how to use a website that attracts new visitors, okay? This is not a course that's just, here's where you can find some pretty colors and some pretty fonts, and this is the platform that I like. We are going to dive into the psychology of what compels people into your church. It compels them to go through your front doors. And if that sounds like it interests you, just be ready because next week we're launching it. So go to betterchurchwebsite.com, get the guide. That's step 1, and then we'll be in touch. So thank you guys for watching. God bless. Now take what you've learned, go out there, change your church, improve your website, improve your ministry, stop saying enough. Eventually, you can start changing lives.